Okay. And we're back. We've updated the tracker. Okay. And so today, classroom observations, which I discussed a little bit. Again, shortened class periods. So it was more of kind of a quicker version of what they
Right.
set up. But there's definitely evidence of, I would say for both Stransky and Vasquez, like there's evidence of their small group work.
Yeah.
Again, Stransky has her rotation set up, whereas Vasquez was working more on like syntax and some grammar work. But again, I think they're both leaning more towards like that focused, intentional work. They both, as well, and I wanted to add this, spoke to Stransky gave SRI testing to her students again, and commented that she saw growth. So I haven't seen that, but just in comment here. As well as Vasquez has seen growth in student writing with the focused intentional work that she's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to celebrate here.
It is.
So, next steps. I think as we look at the PSA, our goals originally here were within 2 weeks we wanted to have a list of look fors, which we did, and that was all around like the small group instruction.
Right.
The other thing is what we haven't really discussed yet is like the data. So here might be an opportunity here for us to think about like next steps and how we can utilize data in those classrooms. As well as we had talked about 100% of literacy intervention classes demonstrate appropriate rigor and observation feedback cycles, show evidence of small group planning and instruction. I think we definitely see evidence of small group planning and instruction, so that's a win.
I agree.
Again, I think going back to data to speak to like the rigor and appropriateness of like the interventions that are put in place. Okay, so let's take a moment. We can kind of brainstorm in this document right here. And we don't have to set like PSA 3 today because we haven't set really enough time here to do that.
Right.
But we can schedule that at the end here, a date for that. But maybe we can just brainstorm a little bit here, beginning to think about next steps to kind of move this instruction forward.
What I would like to see is the data in which we have from IA1 to IA2. I mean, that's the thing I'm thinking about at this moment. Also, they just recently did SRI scores, and I'm kind of curious on their SI scores. So from the beginning of the year to this year. So those are the two things I would love to look at before we can even consider about our PSA number 3.
Sure.
Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. I think that would be maybe a good next step for you and I
Yeah.
both. If they can share that data with us,
Yeah.
that can be our pre-planning for our PSA 3. So let me
Yeah.
write this.
And so we just
To
took.
review the data.
Yeah.
Okay. You just took IA1, right? So we're going to have to wait for their.
We just took I2.
IA2, my bad.
IA2.
So we're going to wait for that analysis.
Right.
And I think as well, like creating a structure for that analysis. I remember last time for IA1, all teachers had done like their general ed classes.
Right.
But there wasn't really a time for them to look specifically at skills block classes.
Correct.
So, that's a need
Right.
with scheduling there. And so they may need to even go back and look at IA1 first. And I can send this like a summary as well.
Some to-dos for me to pull that data and look at that.
Is there a time that can happen for teachers to sit and do that analysis of that data? So that might be a question with you and like the leadership team, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so let me look at that.
Okay.
Maybe we can do it next next Thursday. Let me look at the agenda for that.
Okay?
I know they're going to do some data analysis on the interims,
Right.
but I'm not certain we've actually checked on intervention classes or we've asked them to do intervention classes. So let me check on that.
Right. Right, like I know for for IA1, they did data analysis.
They did.
Right, we just want to make sure they're hitting skills block classes
Right.
as well.
Okay.
And so I think that great plan. I think reviewing that and then also reviewing the SRA data that they just did, which it sounds like they've done.
Right.
I don't know to what extent. So maybe we could just ask those questions. ask to view this? Or do you have that data, the SRI already?
I don't.
Okay.
So I'll need to get that.
Okay. So I've put that just kind of at the bottom of the agenda there, kind of our next steps.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be on our radar there. So can we have a,
I'm actually going to put a comment here and give my, not comment, yeah, comment.
Okay.
And then give myself a timeline on this.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. When will we need to get back and have a conversation about
Okay.
our PSA 3?
So this is good. Let's start looking at calendars here. That's our next step here. So I know that Heather had sent us an email about wanting to meet to do literacy look fors and observations in January.
Right.
Um,
And she
so,
wants to look at those intervention classrooms as well as non-literacy, or
Yes.
non-honors literacy classes.
so this will probably be a bigger block of time that we need to schedule off.
Right.
I have, for my own scheduling and time here, kind of around like the week of January 8th to begin like PSA 3.
Okay.
I can do the Monday of January 8th to be here.
can't,
Nope,
unfortunately.
okay.
So that's my first day of Learn to Lead Acting Principal, and I have family meetings all day long.
Okay.
I have family meetings period 3, period 6, and period 7, and then I have DDI and A team the other times.
Understood.
So it's kind of crazy.
I have something on the Tuesday morning, but I can move that. The Tuesday morning of the 9th, like that entire, scratch that, because I think my schedule's gonna be changing next semester, sorry. I can do Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. And then we're just focusing on creating PSA 3,
I'm sorry,
correct?
so 2 things we need to schedule.
Okay.
We need to schedule time for PSA 3,
Right.
and then for walkthroughs with Heather.
Right.
We can do all of those in one day. I think it'd be good to do like all of those walkthroughs, and then at the end, we can kind of nail down our PSA 3 goals.
But when we do the walkthroughs with Heather, our literacy classes are second period, so we're going to have to definitely do it in the morning. So we
Okay.
can't do anything in the afternoon.
Okay.
For that reason. So are we wanting to do that on the 9th and the 10th? You can't do the 9th.
Let
which
me
is
do the
that
9th, I can
Wednesday.
move this.
I wonder if she's available on the 9th or the 10th.
Okay. So I can, the 10th, the morning of the 10th, I can't.
Okay.
But, again, the 9th is a possibility.
And also, this is going to be a new semester. Is that going
Right.
to change some of the things with the teachers and they're just starting in? Should we give them another day or two, or should we just automatically do that Tuesday?
I think that's up to you. Oh, because that will be like their day or two back, like their
Yeah.
first day or two back.
It'd be
Do you
their
want to
second
say
day.
Tuesday the 16th or 17th? I have those 2 days
I would prefer the 16th.
open as options.
Yeah, I would prefer the 16th.
16th or 17th.
Because,
Does
yes,
17th work as an option as well, or no? I just wanted to give a couple options.
17th is open until what time? 9:30.
Okay, so this
So it's
would
not much.
start, let me say Tuesday for starters, and then if that
Okay.
doesn't work, we can
Yeah.
figure out. So we can say Skinner observations, and those would start at 8 or 7, don't they start at about like 7:50?
7:53 is what time second period starts.
So we'll have a little bit of a pre-meeting time, so let's
Yeah.
say we be here by like 7:45,
Okay.
and then to have time to hit all skills block classes, and what else did she say here?
Did she say skills?
I'm sorry, I say literacy intervention,
She says literacy intervention.
non-honors literacy.
Right.
Oh, and she would also like to see a literacy weekly data team meeting.
Okay.
Don't they have those on Monday
They have
afternoons?
those on Mondays.
Okay, so I mean, we may just have to schedule that a different day.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Or-
that's afternoon, isn't it? Or,
Yeah, or we can just do it on a Monday. So I mean, so
That works for me.
What about the following Monday?
Okay.
So what about so if we look at,
Monday the 15th.
we're out of school. That's Martin Luther King.
Okay.
See, Mondays are so crazy. So maybe she can just come back. I mean, I'm sorry to say this.
Like we could do a
Um,
Monday afternoon data team meeting and then do the Tuesday observations.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to send those invites because you know the times?
Sure.
Okay, because I was starting to and then realized you hold all the answers.
Okay. So weekly data.
So we said, actually, no, the 15th doesn't work because we're out of school.
Right.
I'm thinking the same
So
thing.
we may have to do the 22nd and the 23rd.
For the data.
Yeah, for the data, and then
Oh,
the
and for-
observations on the 23rd.
Okay.
Is that too far out?
I feel like it kind of is as far as starting our PSA. I think
Okay.
maybe do like the full walkthroughs of the classes on the 16th. And then if we need to get a data team meeting in, maybe we can just come back on the 22nd in the afternoon.
Okay.
And again, these are options. I don't know what her schedule.
Right. I don't know what her schedule is either, so
I should be able to look at it, but I can't.
So I'll check that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then do you want to plan for, after we finish with her observations on the, what do we say, the 16th at least, that you and I sit down and plan PSA 3 goals? Because that'll give us time to look at data. That will give your teachers time. At that point, they will have done IA1 probably and IA2, right?
Right.
So then we can, on the 16th, I'll have to go, but not until like 12:30. So I think a good hour is enough.
You can do the 16th?
Get to do observations and then to do PSA.
Okay. All right.
So if you want to send me a chunk of time for that, and to Heather as well, and then we'll get that set up. Does that work?
It works.
Okay, I'm just going to put those dates in here.
So what
that
you're
I
saying
remember as
is
well.
on 116, we're going to do walkthroughs that morning.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Literacy walkthroughs, including all the different types of classes.
Right. So 116, 753 through. Do you think 2 hours is enough
For PSA 3? Or for observations?
for the observations?
Depending on how many classrooms we see. I think if we're seeing about 3 or 4, I think that should be plenty.
So I'm gonna look at the schedule real quick.
I think 2 hours gives us plenty of time
Let
to.
me see. So periods 2. How many non-honors classes can we see? So period 2 is going to be our literacy blocks, and then we can go into McAdams. We can also look at Q1, beautiful. Period 3, language arts. That's 6th grade common. Vasquez. Okay, that would only give us 2. So if we do period 2, there's going to be our literacy classes. And then if we do, and a couple of language arts classes if we can get in. Period 3, 6th period is 6th grade is off. So we only have language arts in 2 classes. And then period 4 is going to give us 3 classes to observe.
Okay. So there's options like from period 2 through 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's not a lot for period 3.
But does it, I mean, as long as there's some,
There are,
right?
there are, yeah.
Like we can see a couple
Okay,
at that time.
so I will say 9:45. 2 hours, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Or longer?
I think 2 hours is sufficient.
Okay, I just sent that.
After that, it's a bit of burnout with observations. I
Right.
think, but
I just sent it to you.
great. Thank you.
And that's on the 16th.
There it is.
It's hard
It's
to believe that
everywhere.
it's 18th already.
I know, right?
Yeah, 2018.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay. So for next steps here, I put, one more time just to review. We're going to do, so on the 16th, we're going to do literacy walkthroughs and we're going to do PSA 3 goal setting. Our pre-meeting work there, and I'll send an agenda and all of that soon for that, will be to review and analyze the data from, and we're including IA1, IA2, and as well as like SRI, so that we can discuss that in our meeting. And then on the 22nd, hopefully we can observe a data meeting. Work for you?
Beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
That concludes